Does anybody wish we had more Mando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meet Kent, Ryan, and Terry. We're just three random dudes who get together every Saturday to talk about our two favorite things in life, coffee and Star Wars. We call it JavaJawaJaw. Hey everyone, welcome back to JavaJawaJaw. With me today is Ryan and Kent.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah?
Yeah, well,
We're here. It's our first show since The Mandalorian.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sad times.
Yeah.
I've been depressed all week.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've done nothing all week.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of a future does the future hold for us without episodes of this show?
I woke up Wednesday, no Mandalorian. I woke up Friday, no Mandalorian.
Still no Mandalorian. Yeah.
I refuse to even
No
wake up
Mandalorian
on
today.
Friday.
Yeah?
I just refuse.
What's the point now?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like, eh.
Well, okay. Well, that's great. Mandalorian's wrapped. As we talked about last episode, it was phenomenal. I think across the board, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody in the entire galaxy who has not enjoyed that show. So,
Maybe
A+.
the client.
Maybe a client?
The client didn't like it.
Oh, the client. Yeah. Well, that didn't end well for him.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Werner Herzog. I'm still like, yeah. So I want Werner Herzog for my grandfather. So if he's if he's looking for if you're looking for some place to have Christmas dinner, Werner, I got you, man.
If it pays well, I might be able to make it happen.
Man, you want to be my grandpa?
No, I'm saying I can recruit him for Beskar. I could get some Beskar steel and bribe him to be your grandfather.
Yeah, okay, I'm down
Or
with
at least
that.
show up at an event like Iron Man.
Okay, cool. All right, well, today's episode of JavaJawaJaw is brought to you by Fourth Corner Bakehouse and Coffee Company in Waxhaw, North Carolina. My first time going here. It's nice, homey, got a great rustic vibe to it, kind of farmhouse meets a little bit of industrial going on. I found it thoroughly enjoyable, a great place with several rooms, a wide variety of seating options. I think there was like a place for kids. I saw a sandbox in the back.
That's where Kent was most of the time.
Yeah.
We were trying to talk Star Wars and Kent's playing in the sandbox.
I had my Sand Troopers, my do-back, and I made a new episode, so
Stay tuned.
He did. That's right. I saw him doing it. I might have had a cameo in it. He wasn't
Star
planning
Wars
on it, but I
fan
just
fiction at its best.
I straight up photobombed your show. Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Sorry, not sorry.
The coffee was on point. They roast their own beans.
Yeah, I liked it so much
Yeah.
that I straight up bought another mug. I think that's a true testament of my absolute fan of a place is when I actually buy them.
And a pound of coffee.
And a pound of coffee. So I'm good to go for the next few weeks.
I'm trying to get rid of the coffee I currently have. I want to go try that bourbon blend. I want to give that a try, so I'm coming back.
I saw that. They have an amazing, what I can't speak for it because I haven't had it, but it's bound to be amazing. A blend that was allegedly roasted or aged in bourbon barrels.
Yeah. Nice. They actually had the barrel there. And I filmed some of that, and it was great. So I'm excited about that.
I didn't know about it until after I bought this, and we had already taken up too much of their time, so I left. So I'm going to have to come back.
Odds are good we're coming back, so there you go.
They were Mandalorian fans.
So if you're in the Waxhaw, North Carolina area...
That's right, and they are Mandalorian fans.
Yes, they are. Yes. The other coffee shops we've gone on, they haven't expressed interest in Star Wars stuff. These baristas
it's been borderline, that's nice.
100% on board with Mandalorian. They were talking about episode 9 and that kind of stuff, and it was great. So because they have coffee and because they like Star Wars, we're coming back.
Yep, okay, great. So this being the 9th episode of JavaJawaJaw, we have elected to discuss Episode 9.
That's right.
Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. It's been a couple weeks since the movie's been out, so if you haven't seen it yet, then you haven't been on this planet.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
Yeah, so
if you're watching this...
Yeah, full disclosure, this is a spoilerific episode, man. We're not going to do our usual thing. There's not going to be a synopsis. We just have a few talking points that we want to address, so without further ado, let's get rolling.
Let's do it.
All right.
Talking points.
Talking points. Opening credits. Obviously, from the get-go, right away, the first thing that they let you know is that Palpatine is back.
Right.
Which raises the question, how the hell did that happen? Last time we saw the guy, he's plummeting down a shaft in the Death Star 2, and there's an explosion that one assumes is him.
Right. You would
Yeah,
How else would you
becoming
think?
one with the dark side. We never really knew what that explosion was all about. Maybe
He went the way of Mace Windu. They just fell down, and that was the last we saw.
Except
of him.
as far as we know, Mace didn't explode.
Uh-oh.
Right. And he's still alive, according to Sam Jackson.
That would be a great comic book. Actually, he's aged correspondingly with the prequels.
Yeah, Favreau, John Favreau, make that happen.
I would love to see
Series.
that happen.
Mace Windu, I'm alive.
But yeah, he fell down that shaft, and there was explosion, and we think there's balance in the Force, and that's the end of it, right?
Dude, do you even know how much I would love to see him have a cameo in Kenobi?
Ooh.
Mace Windu? Not the Emperor, Mace Windu.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'd be entertaining.
It would work.
Yeah.
It would work. We would have Mace Windu show up with a bionic hand, or maybe just a hook.
Just a hook?
Yeah. Or maybe his hand would be a lightsaber.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
He'd be like a pirate.
Yeah.
He'd just have a sword.
Yeah.
There was a character.
He could even lose the eye. Like when he fell, he lost an eye.
He
right?
lost an eye and a leg.
Yeah.
So he's got a saber.
Spider legs.
Yeah.
It'd be like the
anti-mall.
The chick from the Kingsman, and he could have like lightsaber legs.
Ooh.
No, man, it'd be.
I mean, wouldn't
love
he
that
have to be
character.
dark side at that point, though?
Let us write that film. Just,
I think that Mace was pretty dark in and of himself, man.
He was.
Yeah. So
He
it
tapped
wouldn't
into
take
the
a
dark
whole
side.
lot for him to go over to the dark side. So to have him, a dark Mace Windu, go toe to toe with Kenobi in an episode of Kenobi, that is a serious opportunity. Writers, producers of Kenobi.
if anybody wants to make that happen, just make sure we get credit and a check for the idea. That's
I'm
it.
looking at you, Deborah Chow. Make
it.
it so.
Bam.
Make it so.
Yeah, so the dude falls through the shaft.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Palpatine.
See you, Palpatine.
But he's back now.
Hide and seek champion.
Hide and seek champion.
I see champion of the world.
2005 to 2019.
Yeah, he wins.
Yeah. 14 years running. So how's he back, guys? Theories? Thoughts? What do we know?
All right, so here's
what's
the thing.
been confirmed? What's been speculated?
I'm gonna go speculation because I'm gonna go that route. But I think when he fell down the shaft, okay, he pulled a Luke Skywalker from Empire and fell down and landed in one of those chutes.
And cried out, "You're not my father."
And cried out, "You're not my father!" And then he landed on the weather vane deal and was hanging out there, and somebody came and picked him up.
And he escaped from the Death Star, which exploded scant minutes later.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Snoke
everybody,
pick him up?
our heroes. I think it happened.
Well, to be fair, we never saw the Royal Guards throughout the entirety of that bit. We don't know where they were.
No,
Yeah.
maybe they were waiting on him down in the shaft. I don't know.
They left.
They were gone. They weren't
out.
very protective at that time. Like we saw the Praetorian Guards fighting, Kylo and Rey. They weren't like that. They were just kind of
Union break.
union break. They had to take their 15-minute coffee break. I don't know. He certainly had a plan because he said in Jedi that, or Return of the Jedi. Sorry, everybody, we have the Last Jedi, but Return of the Jedi. That everything is going as he has foreseen, right?
Right.
He had orchestrated the whole Battle of Endor. He had the Rebel fleet coming in, and his plan was to destroy the Rebel fleet, and had all this fleet on the other side of the moon and the whole thing. And I had to think that even at that point, he had a backup plan because he was too smart of a guy. This is a guy who, if you go back to the prequels, planned to overtake the entire galaxy from Naboo. He had a plan and had all this stuff in motion. He had the Trade Federation and all this other stuff going on. It was crazy how he planned this stuff. He clearly is a very smart individual.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I think it was the plan all along. I think he thought that maybe Luke would turn and then replace Vader as his right hand Sith. But if that didn't happen, he was going to kill Luke. And I think he had an exit plan to go to the unknown region the entire time. I think that was the plan.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Ken, you have any thoughts? You agree, disagree?
I mean, I don't know that we're necessarily seeing the Palpatine that we saw in Return of Jedi. We've seen so many news stories of how the Sith cling to life. So they put themselves in artifacts, helmets, all kinds of like crazy, just holding on to their essence, like clinging to life. So even though it was Palpatine, it might not necessarily be the exact Palpatine that we saw in Return of the Jedi. So just enough of him to put together a clone to put it on that little sky hook that was like carrying him around and stuff. Like, again, we just see this pathetic form that's just clinging to life and trying to relaunch his empire.
Yeah, pretty decrepit. Yeah, he was ancient already in Return of the Jedi. I think that there were people alive today who were older than Palpatine was in Return of the Jedi. But still, you're talking. How many years have gone by? 40 years have gone by since his plummet down that shaft.
Yep.
And now he's, of course, 40 years older than an antique, which makes him really extra antique-y.
Interesting thought. Yeah. Well, speaking of that,
he's death warmed over literally.
Yeah, he is. He's like a coffee that's been sitting there for a long time. But he's when he talked about the skyhook, the thing that was kind of maneuvering him around a little bit. He looked terrible. So he clearly had gone through different forms and transferred his essence into different bodies, I think, is what's happening over there. And because he looked like dead. He looked dead. So
he looked like he was
he'd been on life support for 40 years.
That's it. His body is decaying. Yeah. The only thing that's keeping him alive, he's being kept alive by artificial means.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe there's a combination of technology and just sheer will through the power of the dark side of the Force.
Right.
That's keeping him going.
Yep.
I mean, that's what's pretty obvious to me. I don't know which one of you I agree with more. I don't know if this is is the original Palpatine. I don't know if it's a clone Palpatine. I don't know. They don't say it. I find either explanation to be plausible, but
if anybody out there knows, let us know.
Yeah, if something's been
theories.
confirmed, I don't think anybody's actually spoken up, and we'll get to that. That's point one to something that's going to be brought up later on in this conversation. Right. My thought on the matter is that one of the things that I've considered is that Palpatine's existence, his presence in this movie, was dictated not by any original design. I think that the role that he's playing was supposed to be fulfilled by Snoke in JJ's first. I don't think Palpatine was part of the equation from the get-go.
Yeah. So while we were getting some awesome coffee this morning, we kind of talked about this. He brought this up, and I think you may be onto something there. I think Ian McDiarmid had no idea that he was going to be in Episode 9.
No.
Until Episode 9.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any part of that.
No.
Because it was just Snoke was a pretty good villain for. Yeah,
until he was
7.
He had potential to be a pretty good villain. However, and I think that I don't think I'm alone in saying this, but I think that a lot of people out there. And I don't necessarily include myself, but I think a lot of people out there really felt that Snoke was basically just repeating what we've seen before.
Yeah.
But when you consider it from the perspective of the credo of the Sith, that being that there are only two, then there's always going to be that dynamic. You're always going to have one who is over the other.
Right.
So from that perspective, you had Snoke as the master, and you had Kylo as the apprentice.
And it's what we've known for 40 years.
This has been canon for the longest time.
Yep.
Yeah, there are always two. I don't have any issue with that. So if you do, all right, that's your thing.
And Snoke went down a little too easy, I think. I think he went down a little too easy.
No. Snoke went down as easily as Palpatine did, and for the same reasons. He was blinded by his own arrogance to the extent that he was able to be betrayed by his apprentice. He was so caught up in the moment.
Okay.
So caught up in what he thought was his absolute triumph.
Which eventually happens to every
Sith.
Yeah. That's a pattern. That's a pattern.
I'll give you that.
And that's why I take issue with the whole notion that Palpatine could survive this. Not that your theory isn't correct, but from a storytelling perspective, I think that it was a mistake. Yeah, to actually retcon this into, okay, well, what if the Emperor is still alive?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then like I'm all the voices you've heard in your head, which he tells Kylo a little later.
Yes.
He's the Vader voice, and he's the Snoke and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder that because of what Luke did in Last Jedi, as far as the Force vision and all that kind of stuff, does that mean that Snoke was a Force? How did he control Snoke? Snoke clearly was split in half in Episode 8. if he was a clone or so, I don't know.
Well,
I
it
don't
goes
know.
back to Palpatine just manipulating all these Force users. So we saw it with Dooku, we saw it with Maul. He's gonna take a powerful apprentice and he uses them to distract everybody while he's doing his thing behind
But that
the
would
scenes.
mean there's 3, because you would have Palpatine, you would have Snoke, and you have Kylo.
Well, you saw it a little bit with Saj Ventress, like Dooku was trying to
There's
do
yeah, there's
her
been
on the
this
side
there's been
and
this dynamic
become the master.
I got
of
you.
the apprentice always taking another dark force user under his wing
Yeah.
and sort of grooming him to become his apprentice once he ascends to the role of master.
Because the ideal plan for every Sith is to be the Emperor.
Exactly so.
That's
yeah,
the plan.
yeah.
So even the Saj Ventress, I mean, she had.
Yeah,
everybody.
and if the
Maul
master
and-
is observant enough, then he or she is going to recognize that there's somebody waiting in the wings.
Right.
And once that person becomes too powerful, either eliminate your current apprentice and elevate that person to the role of apprentice, as Palpatine did with Anakin, getting rid of Count Dooku, or in the case of Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress, demanding
Eliminate.
that Dooku eliminate
Right.
Ventress.
That's why I'm keeping my own Kent.
And don't become a rival.
I'm keeping my own Kent because he's going to ascend to be the Emperor. And JavaJawaJaw.
I think all of us here
Right.
are probably aware of that potential. Yeah.
We're watching you, Kent.
Okay, so I guess the general gist of it is that nobody here is really clear on how Palpatine could have survived.
No, I haven't seen it a few times. I still have no idea.
So that's open-ended plot point number 1.
We don't know. We're the experts, and we don't know.
yeah,
We have
whatever.
no idea. We have theories.
We don't know that we're the experts. Okay, next up, I guess chronologically would be
I think JJ, right? Because you touched on it a little bit.
should we just proceed with that?
You want to talk about JJ and Ryan Johnson?
Oh, one of the
can.
things that I brought up, guys, is that in our conversations is, and in relation to the holiday season that just went by, is I would really hated to have been a guest at a holiday party in which J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson were both in attendance.
Right.
Can you imagine the awkwardness, the tension? Because it's clear that those two guys did not see eye to eye.
I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be. I don't know.
Let's be entirely honest. You know, as much as you disagree with either director's direction,
Which a lot of people do.
J.J. Abrams
On both sides.
On both
On both
sides.
sides.
On both sides. Yeah.
J.J. Abrams had a very clear idea of where he wanted the new Star Wars trilogy to go, and he set the stage for it. Ryan Johnson came along, and he said, he took the helm, and he was like, I think I'm going to steer the ship over here.
Right.
Which I applauded.
Yeah.
I think I've gone on record as saying that as of a month ago before I saw this movie, Episode 8 was my favorite prequel.
Boom.
Yeah. And
5 points.
And what was the biggest
Well,
knock
which direction?
of what was the biggest
It's
knock
neither
of
positive or
episode
negative.
7? Everybody too much rehashing,
Yes.
too much.
Well, I
of
mean, like
what we've
episode
already
7
seen.
was what people
Episode
said,
7
a
was-
remake of 4, right?
Exactly.
Episode 7 was too much fan service. Episode 8 was not enough fan service.
Right.
Episode 9 was it
So
the right amount of fan
8,
service?
we're getting some new stuff, and everybody flips out.
I loved episode 9. I'll go on record, say it right now.
Well, let's just get it out of the way.
I have
let's
gone
go
on-
ahead and interrupt the narrative here and just go
ahead.
ahead and let's just get our general opinions. Before we continue with this, we should probably clear out any
Go
air.
with that.
You go ahead and go first, Ryan. What do you think?
I loved episode 7. Like, I've watched it 200 times. I don't know, a lot of times. I've watched it. I loved episode 7. Whether it's a remake of episode 4 or not, don't care. Episode 8, it took me a minute to enjoy it. Now, when I first saw it in the theaters, I left the theaters happy. I was happy with it.
Right.
And then after I watched it a few times, I'm like, I've grown to like it more. It's definitely not my favorite. Episode 9, I enjoyed it. Now, there's our questions we have about Palpatine and some other things, but I liked it, man. When I walked out of the theater, and both times I've seen it so far, I liked it both times. I love the fan service. I love the 3PO. I love the Luke. The whole every bit of it. I freaking liked it. So I don't think it's better than Rogue One for me. I think Rogue One's still up there.
No, it can't. I don't think it's better than Rogue One at all.
And I think that it's probably like maybe fourth or fifth in line if I was to rank favorites. But I enjoy it. It's something I could put on and I could watch it again and enjoy it. There were some pieces of the puzzle that I thought were a little copying, for the better, lack of a better word. Just at the end, I thought they had the Avengers Endgame, the on your left moment. I think that was a little. As soon as all those ships showed up in the unknown regions, I was like, "Am I watching Avengers? What is this? Like, what am I doing here?" And because everything's going wrong, and then bam, there's a fleet. But then I remembered, they did it in previous films.
Wong opened the portal.
Wong opened the portal, and all these ships showed up. And instead of
Wong's
Wong,
a handy guy to have around.
well, instead of Wong, they traded Wong for Lando.
Right.
Lando was the Wong in this film. But
Wongdo?
Yeah, Wong.
Hashtag
Wongdo. But regardless of that part, there were emotional moments in the film that were great. The 3PO. We got a new character, Zori Bliss. I thought she was great. This Babu Frick, which everybody's freaking out. And we should have a poll of who was,
by the way, sitting on my coffee cup earlier.
Who's more lovable, Babu Frick or Baby Yoda? I don't know.
Comment below.
We'll just let us know that. But I liked it, man.
Good.
I was happy with
it.
Ken?
The more I've seen it, I think it's a Star Wars story. I think it's a good Star Wars story. It is not my favorite. And I think a lot of that is I'm not sold on the saga being finished. I think there's plenty of stories, and I honestly think I'd be happier with this movie if I wasn't so sold on the saga being over and them pushing that kind of closure, which we did not get in this movie.
Ooh.
So
no finality.
Yeah. We'll bring that up in a minute, definitely.
But I think it's a great Star Wars story. Just like all the rest of the Star Wars movies, there's going to be scenes that I'm going to pull from it that are going to be my favorite scenes. There's going to be scenes of the movie that I'm going to be doing other stuff in the background while the movie's playing, and scenes that are going to be like, oh, I got to stop what I'm doing. That scene's coming up.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I think we all are.
When people blow people up, you have to watch that, right?
Well, I've gone on record as saying I've seen the movie. I've seen the movie twice now. I saw it last Sunday for the second time in IMAX, which I recommend highly.
Oh, yeah.
My first experience, the audio suffered terribly. Smaller screen, obviously, but seeing this movie in IMAX with that superior sound and visual quality is a must. I mean, if you're willing to fork over $20 to do it,
you should do it.
Yeah, definitely do it.
You should watch every movie in IMAX. I don't care what it is. Just watch them all. Spend the money.
If it's important to you, especially.
Yeah.
My overall impression, I think I said last week that I think that it is the best Star Wars movie that Michael Bay ever made. That remains the same. I think that structurally the story was. They were trying to pack a lot in, man. I mean, I'm being kind here. I mean, I think I've said to other people that I thought it was a hot mess. I think that might have been taken a little bit too far. They had a lot to accomplish, a lot that they were trying to squeeze in, and given the time slot that they had, they did a fine job. I had a great time both times that I watched the film. I mean, obviously I could walk through it and nitpick it, but what would be the point?
Yeah, you do that with anything.
Yeah. I think that, but again, I think that JJ definitely did his best to get the storyline back on course with what he originally had in mind. Whether or not that was a wise call is a subject for debate, and that's not why we're here.
Nope.
But yeah. I love it. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I was going to see it tomorrow night. Turns out I've got work to do, so I won't be able to. But I do have quite a few days off before I fly to California in a week. So I'm going to see it at least one more time before I head there. Probably see it while I'm in California too.
I'm probably going to go see it tomorrow. That's kind of the plan. I was planning on seeing it New Year's Day, but I just didn't feel well, so I didn't. But because that's a good day to go see a film.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Like I said, there's parts you can nitpick, but you can do that with anything.
Yeah. Okay, so you brought up something just now. What?
I tend to.
Yeah. One of the things I want to point out, just while we're still on this subject, I think that it was impossible for. You brought up Rogue One.
Yes.
Which made me also think of Solo.
Yeah.
Which I think since Disney took over, I think those are probably. That and Rise of Skywalker round out my top 3 of the 5 movies that have been released so far. And I think that if you really tied me up and made me talk, I think I would probably have to say that Solo and Rogue One are the ones that I find the most rewatchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch those movies again and again and again. And I think that most of that is because the Skywalker saga has some expectations attached to it.
It does.
And
It's just be grandiose and
and especially if you're trying to approach it from the perspective of fan service.
Right.
That's just going to be challenging.
It's almost like, well, is it that it didn't end well for whatever your expectation was, or are you just sad that it ended?
I'm not.
Like, I came home after watching it the second time, and I kept hearing. I told you guys, I came back and I looked at my collection, which is the Skywalker saga. 9 episode of Hot Toy figure back there, and I was like, man, what do I do now? What am I going to collect now? I was like, man, this is crazy. I was looking through all these different episodes, and Rogue One's definitely my favorite. But you mentioned something earlier that they tried to pack up so much stuff into this 2.5 hour, 245 movie. But then you look at what they did with, and we'll kind of back up to Mando here. Look how much info they packed into Mando in 30 minutes every week.
And at no time did it seem like a hot mess.
None did it seem a hot mess.
No.
So but again, Mando,
it was very well structured.
Mando was not trying to correct anything, or if you will, and we didn't know what was going on. So I don't know if it's a fair evaluation of it, but they were able to pack. I do feel like Rise of Skywalker, they tried to pack 100 hours worth of stuff into 2 hours.
So many things that I don't know needed to be there.
No.
When you factor in the backstory of, and I can't remember the name of the character, Naomi Aki's, is that her name?
Jenna,
like the character of Jenna and her stormtrooper squadron, her stormtrooper platoon unit, whatever, that all threw down their arms in order to kill a bunch of civilians.
Yep.
That we're going to call that the stormtrooper revolt.
Revolt.
Yeah,
Revolt.
Stormtrooper revolt.
Yeah, that totally didn't need to be there.
No, it really didn't need to be there. But, and bear with me here, then you've got Zori Bliss bringing us a little bit of backstory on Poe Dameron that we had no idea was a thing.
Right.
Where did that come from? A lot of people have cried, hey, wait, no, he had this whole backstory that was fleshed out in...
Smuggler.
Well, there's some gaps in that comic book story.
There are.
In which he could have existed as a smuggler. But did we really? I mean, I know they really wanted to portray him as the Han Solo element in this new trio.
That was a stretch.
Yeah,
that was a stretch.
As much
as I liked Zori Bliss.
Yeah, I would actually, and I'm just going to say this because I'm trying to instigate, but I think that Rose would have been a much better smuggler backstory. Would have had a much better smuggler backstory.
Okay.
If she and her sister had come from a smuggler background to become who they were going to be. If you were going to do that, I think that would have been the wise choice. I think that there were a lot of haters out there that they wanted to put in their place. And so they were just like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to add this to, what's his name? And, it either worked or it didn't, depending on your perspective.
Right.
So that's another one. What else am I thinking of here?
Zori Bliss, that's our Under the Helmet segment. Obviously, there's a lot going on under that helmet. We got the visor reveal and... we need more Zori Bliss.
Right. Definitely.
Gary Russell.
And I think that's
JJ, let's just show us what's going on under the helmet.
Let's just go ahead and say that that's 3 examples that we've laid down, and there were so many more in this movie of what I consider to be dangling plot points, dangling characters who were left without resolution, and I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
I think this whole movie was, in essence, Disney wrapping up the saga and saying, this is the end, but it's also a beginning.
Yeah,
so we're
going to get different, either a film or a series or a one-off or whatever, and and we can sell some toys, right?
Definitely sell some toys.
So,
That brings up our new segment as of last week. This is the second time we've done this, but buy me toys.
Buy me toys, which we all need more toys.
This is the segment in which when we're discussing whatever we're going to be discussing, in this case, Rise of Skywalker, we're going to tell you what our thoughts are and what our demands are. Requests? Demands? How should we... Yeah, I think requests, wants, needs, wants versus needs.
Oh, man. Can we get a Palpatine on the arm, 6 scale figure?
That'd be
from
pretty
Hot
wild.
Toys. I don't know how big the diorama piece would be, but one of those things. That would be crazy.
I could see that being one of
crazy.
Hot Toys vanity projects that you see at conventions.
Yeah, never make it, but it'd be cool to have and it'd be motorized. It'd be, I don't know.
Them around.
And you know what? The funny thing, somebody's going to give me some hate about this. When I first saw that, you know what I thought about? I thought about Dementors. I thought Harry Potter and Dementors when I first saw that
Okay,
thing.
all right.
And I was like, because he was sucking the soul out of Kylo
Right,
and Rey, and
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I was thinking Michael Scott from The Office. You know, the worst thing about prison, the Dementors. And I know it's pretty cool.
That's a tough call because like soul sucking is how many different ways are there to portray that? So I could see why there would be similarities. I mean, it's just by design.
But the toy that honestly I'm already going to get is the new Rey Hot Toy figure and the white and the whole.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm all about that, man. I was completely happy with Rey's story arc and that figure right there. I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
It was a great looking costume.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
When I first saw the figure, I was like, okay, a little too clean, a little too neat, but no, that's some heroic stuff right there.
And I want the gold saber, orange saber. Just throwing that out there.
Kent?
So.
Their storyline was not what everybody wanted it to be, but I think the Knights of Ren, just awesome designs, and they would look great on a shelf. And if you're into army building, there's 7 of them.
Yeah. I think we're going to get some 6 scale figures of those as well.
Each one is different. It would be awesome to see. I would love to see like a Black Series full set.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Of all the Knights of
And
Ren.
if you haven't picked up, well, I don't have that book right here in front of me. Was it the art?
Art of
Rise of Skywalker in there? It talks about all of the different names and characteristics of the Knights of Ren. Pick up that book. I'll link it down below. It's on Amazon. It's like $15.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
My toy of choice is going to be, and I'm hoping that we see this at Galaxy's Edge at some point in time, but I would love to see Rey's saber hilt.
Yes.
Yeah. Preferably with the addition of the blades. If they could somehow engineer that crazy rotating flick switch.
I was told last night by somebody on the gram that they have an exclusive special edition or limited edition version of that saber, that hilt, and Kylo's hilt. At Galaxy's Edge, or to be announced.
All right.
So I'm with you.
Hopefully,
on that.
have it by next week because a week from today I'll be at. 2 weeks from today I'll be at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, I'm in on that one because I need I want the Ahsoka set, but I really want that set, and
Might be my new favorite saber design.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, I really liked Kanan's design. Actually, I have it here, but.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I really like the new one from Jedi Fallen Order. It's massive in length. Yeah, Cal Kestis is it's really, really long.
He's
obviously,
got
because
giant hands.
Spoiler alert: it gets turned into a double lightsaber.
Boom.
But which you can then take apart and use as a dual lightsaber.
See, I haven't. Spoiler. Now
You've got to play this game.
I haven't
bro.
had time to play the game.
Play the game.
Do it.
Oh my goodness.
Play the game. That's hashtag play the game. All right, so we've done Under the Helmet. What's up with these Sith troopers?
They're jerks. No, I'm just kidding.
Repaints, basically.
Exactly.
Basically, Palpatine called up Hasbro and he's like, "Hey, can I get repaints on some figures that you already have?"
I think
they were delivered.
No, I think I got another theory on that. Palpatine hit up Jarvis and said, "Throw some hot rod red on that thing."
Exactly.
But they changed so quickly. So they had all this, again, this goes to Palpatine being a master planner. He had all this stuff lined up right the moment it was ready to go, everybody's like, we got red armor now, let's rock and roll.
Boom.
And clearly, it was the exact, now the Sith troopers had different helmets. They do have different armor. I mean, it's not a first order trooper, it's different armor altogether if you compare the two. But it didn't give them any extra protection that I saw.
I remember that a lot because let's go ahead and bring that up. I wish I'd brought one of my first order troopers here, but when this was first announced and it became a hot toy at Comic-Con, not everybody, but so many people were crying out, "Oh great, another repaint." It is not in any way, shape, or form. There is not a single piece here that is reused from the first order Stormtrooper armor. It's completely unique from head to toe. And they gave it a fire engine red paint job.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great design. I enjoyed it. I especially love the gunners from the ships. The black and red, like the Death Star gunner helmet.
Yeah, you mentioned
like the
that.
moon helmet. No, I especially love those. Yeah. But I think it had to be the same. Was it the same army, or was it a separate army that they had set aside for Palpatine, and he just had it ready, or were they the same guys? And we said, "Here's your new armor." I don't know. It happened so quickly that I have no idea.
Right.
But we saw the jet troopers, right, on the desert planet, right? The jet troopers, and then we saw in battle we saw the Sith jet troopers. So I don't know.
My gut reaction to the design of the jet trooper was was that it was you got a good emoji for that?
Battlefield.
Yeah. Okay, for my burp.
Oh yeah, 100%. Hashtag burp wars.
My gut reaction to the jet troopers initially, just instinctively, was just like, there was something about the helmet that I just didn't appreciate. But upon reflection, because the whole history of the Stormtrooper armor, we've talked about this, I think, as well, is that the original Stormtrooper armor was meant to resemble that of a skeleton,
right?
And the First Order Stormtrooper echoes that, and then you have variations on that with the Snowtroopers having that spectral that sheet over their faces with just the eyes, that harkens to like
from
ghosts.
Empire.
Yeah, from Empire.
Not this guy.
The Scout Troopers with their elongated mouthpieces are like a banshee's wail, banshee wailing, and it's all spectral and undead and spooky, just like terrifying creatures out of Nightmare. And I didn't really see that at first
with the Apple AirPod things.
Yeah,
the little speaker things.
Yeah, but for some reason, and I don't know if I'm just really susceptible to suggestion or what, but it's starting to grow on me. I
think you are.
Susceptible to suggestion?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think we all are.
Okay. Right.
You've seen stuff enough times.
Yeah. It looks more like... I see more, not like classical specters, but more like the undead creatures from, from the Hobbit, when they had the Nazgul were attacking the White Council at Dol Guldur. Was that Dol Guldur? Yeah, it was Dol Guldur. I just saw like that sort of element, like a little bit of like a crown going on and just like armor.
I didn't read this section. It's in that book. I didn't read that section on that particular trooper yet, but because I was
like a lich.
I was stuck on the
play the video game, read the books. Come on.
Yeah.
Slacker.
Oh, I'm getting kicked off.
2020 goals.
I ain't kicked off the show.
This is how he's going to rise to be the emperor. Right?
Slacker.
It was. I think they're fine. I don't have any issue.
No, they're cool. They're cool.
The fact that they fly.
I really respect the idea that we got guys flying around now, and that they fly now. It's
They fly now, but I mean, we've seen it. We had space troopers.
Now?
We had jump.
Now.
We had jump troopers from the previous game and Rebels and whatever. So it's nothing new. It's just they were on a different planet. They did arrive on that planet very quickly.
Mandalorians,
the tread speeder. I don't know why they needed a tread speeder when they had hover speeders. I thought that was kind of weird, but
that's how they launched the jet troopers.
They could have just
and make toys. Launch toys.
Launch toys. There we go. They were pretty cool. But I enjoyed all these trooper designs. The one that I thought was the biggest letdown was the snow trooper with the jacket. I didn't see the
that
point.
was a conceit.
That was
a conceit to sell toys, perhaps. I don't know. It was an interesting design choice. But the snow troopers, just look at this.
It's beautiful.
They're everything that they need to be, and that cape was, I think, just way more than superfluous, especially on that planet.
Yeah.
If you wanted to add a cape or a cloak for added warmth, or to break up a silhouette or something like that, I don't know. I could see maybe for breaking up a silhouette, but that's not really the kind of thing that these guys are used for, and especially not in that environment.
No, it didn't look all that cold.
Yeah, not at all.
People were walking around in thin and short sleeves and whatever.
I mean, I know all of our characters had hooded cloaks on, but that was more for disguise than anything else.
Yeah. Why didn't the officers get new uniforms?
Why didn't the officers get new uniforms?
Payroll deduct. Didn't work.
Speaking of officers.
Red Sith officers.
Speaking of officers.
Right.
Let's talk about Hux.
Hux, my favorite character in all of the trilogy. Hugs.
Hux, not Drux. Wait, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. He was great. I thought
he was.
He's great. He's
great in everything that he's in. I don't know if everybody here has seen Ex Machina, but man. But yeah,
he was the guy. Well, not really. Remember the guy in Rebels who was the guy who was the traitor to the Empire in Rebels. I can't remember his name. But he helped out Sabine and all those guys, and I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was that guy. He was the inside guy. However, he didn't do it because he liked the rebels. He turned because he just really hated Kylo.
Yes.
He just. I don't care who wins. Just. I don't want him to win. That
just brings up, and I was just thinking about that just brings up the flaws in military that's based on promotion, based on the rewards the ambitious.
Right.
Yeah. It's very easy to suck up and get promoted that way. And if that's your basis for promoting somebody who's going to see eye to eye with you, and somebody who's just going to do basically what you tell them or tell you what you want to hear, then that you're going to get that quality of a person, and that's essentially what Hux is.
Yeah.
What Snoke referred to him as a rabid cur. Yeah. All right. That's insulting, but I don't know that that's actually a fair comparison to make. I think, though, that he is an ambitious suck-up.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No question.
And
you saw it with Snoke, his interaction.
And that's just the danger that you're going to run into if you bring somebody like that into your leadership orbit.
Yeah. Well, was there any question at the time when Chewie and Finn, all those guys were getting ready to get killed, was there any question that it was going to be Hux that saved them? Was anybody at all not thinking that? Because I was like, Hux is going to come do this.
Initially, my thought was that
he would screw something up.
Because I didn't know anything about Pride. So, man, the way that they were staring each other down across the table, I think that was intentional. I think that they wanted you to be like, okay, was it Pride? Was it Hux?
Right.
And I'm glad that it was Hux, just because the sniveling portrayal that he gave of that character just gave us more of an opportunity to see him just being duplicitous in every way that he can be. I hope to God that what's his name relished the role that he was playing there, because it is still to this day one of my favorite roles in this new
it was great
series of movies.
I think
he was good in episode 7.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it was through the writing and through Ryan's direction, but he became next level awesome in episode 8.
Yeah, because especially at the end of 8 when Kylo's like the supreme leader, and he's it was
just the bit where he's trying to walk away from the bridge, and he's like, "There's a message for you from Lord Snoke. I'll take it in my chambers."
Yeah, right. No,
General Hux. Yeah, he just brings him down that little squeal that he gives when he gets flattened.
Yeah, he's like the Cobra commander of the new.
Okay, that's fair.
You see him kind of leading, but then you're like,
but he's kind of pathetic at the same time. He's just like, how did he get to this position of power?
And then he bowed. At the end of 8, he's like, praising Kylo for being the new supreme leader or whatever. And
I just love what they did. But General Hux. All right, so Hux is gone. That's
sorry, Hux.
That was abrupt.
Well, again, you get Pride, and I don't know if that's fanfare, but you get this old school Imperial that went and became First Order, and now he's in charge.
Back. Yeah, he's back in Palpatine's orbit, right where he wanted to be.
I mean, without question, he's just like, he shoots the guy. Hux is out, and
I feel like it's important to point out that also that if it does feel like another one of those situations where JJ was correcting what he saw as he wanted Hux to be Pride. Mm-hmm. In episode 7, Hux was definitely meant to be Pride.
Yeah,
and he became more of a sniveling character under Rian Johnson's direction, under Rian Johnson's control.
So he just killed him.
and brought back in what he wanted. Yeah.
I can see that.
It's almost like revenge for because what's her name was Captain Phasma.
Yeah,
was a thing that JJ created, and she came to an ignominious end at the end of episode 8.
So you're saying Ryan killed one of his characters, so he killed one of Ryan?
I don't know that it was that simple, but there's definitely an element of that involved.
JJ put her in the trash compactor.
It's going to be an awkward situation to be in the same room with those two.
JJ did put her in the trash compactor.
That's right.
That's a valid point. We don't know how she survived that, but
comics.
Anyway,
she got that Nubian armor, man. She's good.
So, let's bring up the books and artifacts. Obviously, Rey somehow secured the book, the Jedi texts from the tree.
Right, from the tree. Yeah. She saved the books.
Yeah,
and
another
studied a lot.
JJ's. No, they didn't burn. No. They're still there.
No. Yeah. Well, that's what Yoda told us. He's like, she has, I can't remember exactly what she said. They're safe or whatever he said, but Yoda said something to the fact, Yoda knew the books weren't there in the fire. That's what I'm saying.
She has all the knowledge she needs.
Yeah, she has all the knowledge she
Oh,
needs. Yeah.
crap.
Yoda knew that they weren't in the fire.
Oh man. Okay, I don't believe that I didn't catch that.
Yeah, 5 points.
Just like I have all the
I get 5
knowledge
points.
we need.
I have all the knowledge you need. It was great.
So Yoda was just like, yeah, burn the tree, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Exactly.
He's having a good time.
Yeah, he knew what was up.
It's just a tree at this point.
Yeah, he didn't care. But she had the book, she had the artifacts, she had the
Spent no
the
time
knowledge.
explaining that.
No, and she just
Yeah.
she studied on their trip. I mean, I guess that's all she did. Now she clearly did some training. She was training herself.
Yeah, okay. I think it's long past time that we brought that up.
Yeah.
She was being trained by Leia.
Yep,
She was
she's got a master.
exactly.
Yeah.
Who was trained by
Luke.
which
Let's talk about that for a second.
that was beautiful.
That was
great.
I think that was the epitome of fan service that I don't know. I did not know that I needed that until I had it.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was just even the CGI stuff and young.
I liked
can
it
overlook
better
it.
the
I
second
don't care
time.
about it.
I can overlook it.
It
It
was
surprised me the first time. I definitely enjoyed
when
it.
I saw it, I saw it
come.
coming the second time, so I was
Yeah.
able to just be like, oh, here it comes. Here it
Yeah,
comes.
because the first time you had no idea. Right. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
That was a nice surprise.
It was great, and I'm excited about that. So it makes me even more excited about the new Hot Toys version of Endor that we're going to get from for the training side of it, and so I'm excited.
I might have to change my buy me toys. That would be an awesome.
Are you thinking so?
Luke and Leia training set? That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, you'd have to have switch out heads,
Yep.
you know, or a way to remove the mask in such a
Yep.
way that they wouldn't mess up any hair or whatever like
Yep.
that. But I would love to have those figures in costume.
Yes, I'm all about. Yeah, because it only makes sense that Luke did training with her. I mean, he went and got trained. He passed along to her. Because other than Empire, when she felt his presence on the weather vane, that whole deal, we never really got the sense that she was force sensitive or whatever until Last Jedi.
Yeah, you know that's something that I had trouble with.
Yeah,
And not from that perspective. Not from the lack of the visual, not from the lack of the story
Right.
being there in our face. But my problem was with fans who took issue with Leia being able to pull herself back
Right.
onto the bridge of the Raddus.
right.
It just seemed obvious to me. She's a Skywalker. We knew that she was force sensitive at the beginning, and I just operated under the assumption
Yeah.
that she was strong enough in the Force to be able to do that.
And,
I mean, 40 years have passed.
They talk
It's
about
not
it
like
in
she- yeah.
Aftermath.
Do
But
they?
she tries to kind of be like, yeah, I could train and be a Jedi, but the galaxy needs me to be this leader, so they kind of write it that way.
That brings up an interesting point that I wanted to just go ahead and mention at the risk of angering anybody from Lucasfilm that's watching this.
Oh, they clearly are watching because they
They're
can.
watching,
right,
They
yeah.
can my episode 8 of Mandalorian.
I do have a couple people that in my orbit that
They watching.
But things like that. One of the things that got me, I was on board with everything expanded universe in the 90s.
Yes.
I didn't read a lot of the comic books, but I devoured the novels. Every single one of them, from the ending of Return of the Jedi chronologically all the way up through the Yuzhang Vaughn invasion. I think that's about where I stopped. I don't even know if I got through all of those before I just ran out of time to read. But as much as I enjoyed them, and you're going to enjoy something like that when you're started for Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
But as much as I enjoyed them, there was part of me that recognized, like, okay, this is a rudderless ship. This is a hot mess. A lot of the stuff just wasn't coinciding, especially from the novels were okay, but other things just weren't resonating
So
with me.
many super weapons.
So many super weapons,
There was
right?
there were
Yeah.
so many different.
Yeah.
So
Writers
many
and-
super weapons.
What can we do better than a planet killer? How about a star killer? How about something that can lay waste to entire systems?
Right.
Okay, well that's whatever. It is what it is, and I don't think anybody was taking it overly seriously or knew that it was going to become the monster that it's become today under
Right.
Disney. And I mean by monster, I mean that in a good way.
Big Mouse.
My fear is that we're seeing evidence or signs that similarly there's not really one person or one idea or one ethos surrounding the story that Disney is trying to tell.
Yeah, what are they trying to tell? I think they wrapped up Skywalker.
Yeah.
Now what? Are we going to follow
I think the
Rey?
Skywalker trilogy is the most egregious example of that. The fact
Right.
that it went so far to one side and then
Yeah.
back to the other.
Yeah.
to the point that there's like pieces left behind.
There are. Yeah.
I really hope that they've recognized that something has happened there, and that they take steps to avoid any more of it in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is Rey done? Is that the end?
Is she?
She's a Skywalker.
I would like for her. I would like for her to be done.
I liked her character, man. I'd love to see what she does with the gold saber, and she's out, and she's doing all. I'd like to see that, but I'm okay with picking up a whole nother story.
I like the way JJ ended that. JJ's gone on record as saying that he's no good at endings.
Yeah.
I think that he proved himself right in a lot of ways with this movie, but I think insofar as how he ended Rey's story, I think he did it really well.
Somebody's going to go find those sabers on Tatooine.
I'd like to think 5 minutes after our end shot, there was a Mandalorian and a young Yoda waiting to meet up with Rey.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know where we're gonna go. I really don't even. Whichever way they want to go, I will watch, view, enjoy, and digest.
It's a Star Wars story.
But I would like to see. I will tell you this. I could care less what the whole Finn thing, and I'm Force sensitive. I think that character can just be done. Poe, I'd like to follow. I think that'd be cool. Even Rose would be an interesting thing to follow, that kind of character. But I think all these characters are done. Finn was probably my least favorite character in all of the sequel trilogies. It wasn't my favorite.
I love the idea. The thing about Finn's character that I love is that it's the notion of someone who's in thrall, under the sway of a tyrannical government, absolutely bound to obey every command that he's given, waking up and recognizing, hey, this is wrong. And while his initial motivations were sort of cowardly,
get out,
fear.
Well, that was my problem. He was a coward in the beginning. Anyway.
That's how it started, and that was one of the great points of the great parts of Rise of The Last Jedi, was that it gave him more growth.
Yeah, he did have. In fact, a decent arc.
His arc probably wrapped up in the Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think so. I need something to tell you. I got to tell you something. Blah blah blah.
But insofar as the notion that hey, you're doing some pretty bad stuff.
Right.
We're doing some pretty bad stuff here, and they carried that forward in Rise of Skywalker with the Stormtrooper revolt.
Right.
That we discussed.
That's right.
I think that Finn, combined with, what was the character's name?
Janna.
Janna? Yeah. Finn and Jenna? Or Janna?
Janna.
Finn and Janna being laying the groundwork for a series, perhaps, on Disney Plus, in which these stormtroopers are doing something.
It's almost it's a rebellion of troopers.
Yeah, whether it's post Rise of Skywalker or pre Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
It could be either one.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like
they laid the groundwork
clones
there.
breaking their, they were all being controlled Order 66.
That's true. The chips.
Yeah.
Well, regardless
the programming.
Regardless of any of that, the one character who had the best screen time in the entire film, we haven't talked about it. Go ahead. Who are you going to say? Go ahead.
C-3PO.
No.
What?
I was going to say that. I was going to say Babu Frick, but C-3PO was fantastic, and Babu Frick was amazing. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you thought Babu Frick versus Baby Yoda or the child, which one do you like better? Whatever. Let me know in the comment section below. But C-3PO brought the emotions.
Well, as the last surviving, apart from Han Solo, Harrison Ford, who came back briefly for that.
That's a whole other episode,
and who I'm sure was supposed to be Leia. Converting, but we won't get into the tragedy of her death. But legitimately, the last surviving original character, apart from Harrison Ford the last surviving original character whose story had not been covered.
Correct.
What was meant to be Leia's film, not even in essence, but in part, became 3PO's film, and rightly so.
Yeah, it was great.
3PO
was
they
fantastic.
gave 3PO so much to do in this film, and I was really grateful for it.
I was excited. I
Brought
loved
the
it.
humor,
The whole
brought the heart.
Now, when he they took his memory away, wiped him out so he could do the whole Sith dagger thing. I hoped that he was going to get his memory back. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen because R2 was there. R2 had to back up. So having an external hard drive, you back up your droids, guys. That's the thing.
Back up.
Chewie, when Chewie got blown up, I was like, no! I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, it was bad.
I was angry.
I was like, there's
angry.
no way Chewie goes out like that.
Yeah.
That is wrong. And of course, JJ says, "Hey, I fooled you," and he did, because I thought Rey was just like, "You're out of here." But C-3PO was fantastic. That was great.
Yeah, he was in top form, which is great because I really felt like he was in original form.
Yeah.
Because I felt like even throughout the prequels, and especially in his little bit parts in the first two sequel films, it felt like his dialogue, everything about him was just a little bit, ever so slightly out of character,
Clone Wars.
almost in your face. And I'm not, I don't want to say obnoxious. It definitely wasn't obnoxious, but it just seemed slightly off key to me.
Yeah.
But
The writing was on point.
everything just resonated
great.
perfectly in his appearance in this. So yeah, I was really glad that they gave him all the.
It's true.
Yeah, you gotta remember who programmed him though. Anakin was kind of
Yeah.
Word.
he was kind of weird on Tatooine.
He was kind of weird. We gotta wrap
they
this thing
talking
up.
about that?
Where do we want to end this thing?
Probably where we started with our overall impressions of it. But where do we think this is going to go now? What do you want to see? Well, actually, let's
Disney
just end it.
Plus.
Let's just end it with this. What do you guys? We saw so many dangling characters, so many dangling plot threads here that just suggested.
Not just Palpatine.
That just suggested.
He was the only one dangling.
That just
He was really dangling.
hashtag dad humor. We just saw so many things that were just left unresolved. That bit where Lando is talking to Janna.
Right.
Like she's like, he's like, where are you from, kid?
Right. There's a whole backstory
I don't know.
there.
He turns around and just
Let's go find out.
Let's go find out.
Yeah. So there's a story there, and that could be amazing. I don't know where.
Do you have anything that you want to see?
I would. Man, I would. I don't think we're gonna see this, but I would love to see like Kylo and the Knights of Ren like training thing or something. But I don't think we'll ever see that.
Comic books.
Comics, yeah.
That's totally
Not really
in
the best. Not
comics
really the
right now.
best format for that.
No, I would.
I would love
I
if
don't
you were
know.
gonna. If you were gonna. This would be if you want to see that. This is my recommendation.
Shoot.
Bring back Tartakovsky.
Okay.
Yeah, he did such a great job with that in the original Clone Wars
Yep.
web series. It would be really cool to see what he could bring to the table for that.
I'm down with a web
or
series.
some other anime master.
Yeah, something. It can be anime. Or animated. I don't even care. It could be. I like to see that. I'm okay with the way it wrapped up.
I don't even think it needs to be training with those guys. Just like have them terrorizing the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because they probably did. I mean, what was that storm? They walked by that stormtrooper, and the stormtrooper was like, "Knights of Ren, cool."
Right.
You know?
And spoiler: one of the Knights of Ren has a Death Trooper helmet.
Right.
This modified. Just throwing that out there
I actually missed that.
because he had killed a Death Trooper, stolen his mask, and modified it.
Is that in the book?
It's in the book.
Yeah,
It's sick.
The visual dictionary, ladies and
Visual
gentlemen.
dictionary is
They're
fantastic.
not just for kids.
I know.
Seriously.
Again,
Some
link.
seriously
I'll put a
good
link
stuff.
down there. Pick it up. 15 bucks.
Check it out.
What about you? Is there anything that you really want to see more than anything else?
We talked about it in the car ride over. Give me Disney Plus. Lucas, get your notepads out. So I need a anime style Luke going around the galaxy. Maybe he can train Leia. Maybe it can be him and Lando chasing down the dude trying to get the artifacts. Like, I want to see it. Like, get Mark Hamill. He's amazing. He can voice Luke. They can give me from Return of the Jedi and give me those Luke adventures, and let's do just an awesome anime style, and just don't overdo the Force because it's anime.
Right. Love it. I dig it. Good stuff. I'm good with wherever they want to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of good with wherever they want to go with this too. I don't think that there's any one single dangling plot thread that I want to see unfold. Anything
You're not
that,
gonna go Knights of the Old Republic on us?
who knows?
I doubt
I
it.
kind of. I mean,
There's
I
an
think.
outcry.
I think of all the things we've talked about today, the thing that excites me most is the potential for a Mace Windu Kenobi crossover.
Boom. Make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Boom.
So
Make it happen. We just want
I'm
our
sticking
royalties.
with that one.
We want our royalties.
anything
for
that
the
they
idea.
anything that they want to put out there on Disney Plus
We'll
is
watch.
fine with me.
Exactly.
So I just closed the book. We know what that means.
Oh, that means we're done.
Yeah. So
Snap.
done. Before we go though, and I know we're running a little bit long here, but
It's okay.
we didn't really discuss the redemption of Ben Solo.
No, we didn't. Yeah, maybe that'll be maybe that's next week.
That's another episode.
Another episode.
Okay.
Because we could be here for 14 hours.
Yeah, definitely
Exactly.
so.
We need to talk about Ben. We need to talk about Han showing up. We need to talk about Death of Leia. There's all kinds of stuff we can talk about. There's so much stuff. So it packed like 100 hours of stuff into 2 hours. So.
Right.
So that's a wrap. That's our discussion of Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, and Episode 9 of JavaJawaJaw. Thanks so much to Bakehouse and Coffee Company, Fourth Corner Bakehouse and Coffee Company in Waxhaw for furnishing us with coffee and waking us up this morning. And until next time, we have spoken.
Bye, guys.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
we don't. There we go.
Okay,
We'll just do the intro right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. We're Academy Award for everybody.
One take, man. One take. Cut the check. We're good. All right.
All right, hold my plaque. I'm gonna get a Dundee.
So over before it has begun.